Scott Joplin, huh? The mentor. I guess people don't know that he walked around with the Maple Leaf Rag many years before they recorded this stuff. Or even published. How you doing? My name is Dougie C. Handy. You'll have to excuse me today because I have a slight cold. But they used to call me the father of blues, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about ragtime and the real story. And the minstrel show. As you see, there's music everywhere. Here's an interesting song. Wing Lee's Ragtime Clock. Wing Lee. My favorite line in it says, Wing was almost crazy, wanted fight. Didn't like the coon's rough ways. Tried to stop the clock, was wound up tight. Sure to take 8 long days. Then he caught a copper dressed in blue, but he was a nigger dancer too. When he heard the ragtime danced all night, poor Wing yelled with all his might. No like he ragtime, no like he coon, all look the same to me. That's funny. So what's your name, sir? I see you here going to do a documentary today. You know, my wife told me you was coming over, so it had to be nice.
Well,
so no smoking. I'm going to smoke a cigarette if I feel like it. I don't care. Boy. Poor Scott Joplin. Yeah, I'm going to tell you how it was to be colored in those days. You know what I mean? Hell, I was working for the Birmingham Iron Works when I was 19, making $20 a day. I quit for $50 a week at a minstrel show. Huh? My parents told me I was crazy. Lots of hard work in the iron factory. But the music kept calling me, man. See, it calls you now. Listen to that. Well, let's see, what else should we talk about? I got you. Right here. Old Scott Joplin, by 1900, had to make a school of ragtime book. Why? Because of these facts. You know I used to be a school teacher, so I might refer to you as class. Boy, back in the days, he wrote a slow march beat. You see, I have a metronome right here, and he says, 100 was our authentic Negro colored slow march beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the... He says that's our slow. You better believe it, that's our slow. He said the white folks never even turned the metronome on. Bless their hearts. Boy, let's see. Buddy Scott's protege. They used to, white folks call him the Joplin Kid. S. Broom Campbell would recall, in the turn of the century, ragtime pianist thusly. In 1900, none of the original pianists played ragtime the way it was written. They played their own style. And if you knew the player and heard him a block away, you could name him by his ragtime style. This continues by a similar observation offered by the great Axel Christensen, a Chicagoan white who began teaching ragtime to amateurs in 1903 and would author a series of best-selling books on the subject. In 1902, he says, in 1902 and 1903, there was no accepted method or system of playing ragtime. No two pianists ever played syncopated numbers alike. Boy, it goes crazy. Boy, my nose. You know, this is terrible. I'm supposed to be taking pills, but I'm tired of pills. You know, you get old. But like they say, class, unfortunately for the music historian, This is the opinion of a white man. He says that the emphasis on individuality making it impossible for the modern-day ragtime musician to convincingly recreate the lost style of legendary ragtime figures. I, W.C. Handy, disagree with this. I'll get to that later. Because commercial records companies ignored piano ragtime, preferring band and banjo renditions. The true diversity of the true form icon can no longer be appreciated. My friend says this is curious. Tom Fletcher. He says the word preferring states that the patrons of the high-class joints also preferred strings and band renditions. Yes, kids, at the turn of the century, ragtime was all the rage. America cakewalked to it. Yeah, the cakewalk. You know, walking for that cake was a thing amongst us before the Civil War, where Massa would have us dressed in our finest rag slave clothes. And they used to have a bucket. First, it was who could carry the bucket. You and your girl, so many things on the road, and not spill and drop. Well, that's impossible because, you know, everybody, there's 10 of us trying to compete. There's 20 people couples. So the water, somebody's going to spill water. So there's now mud if you're still running. So that's too messy. You know, the woman said that was his wife, said that was too messy. So somebody, I don't know, said, let's give them food. Let's have a good cake baked for Sunday after church, and we'll have them dance to it or something. So it started, that's Will's prancing, was walking for that cake. Who could step and look the liveliest, got the big cake from Massa's house. You know, you do know the origin of the spiritual. Sir, you say your name is what, sir?
Travis.
Travis, do you know the origin of the spiritual?
Well,
yes,
no.
I don't think you know. You look like you're Indian, boy. You got a little Indian in you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. We'll talk about that later. The origin of the spiritual is this. You know, Master brought us our God, so we couldn't sing slave songs and spirituals about the Lord freeing us and all that stuff during the week before church. So we would sing, all right, but those were code songs for a party that night, whenever we sang in the fields. We were all happy and singing. Why? Because guess who could steal the food from Master so we could go have a party? They call it the steal away. Going to steal away home, Lord. Yeah, it was all the house Negroes. Don't ever say nothing about our house Negroes. They were stealing from Master. Yes, boss. Yes, sir. Picking up hams. There's a bush here. 2 hams. Thank you, Mr. Charlie. Thank you, sir. Sit down. Right. You get the point. They were stealing. Now, it's deep in the woods. And you're black. So that meant you could sure sneak out at night. Why? Master's too busy with one of them girls. He ain't thinking about you in particular. And then, shoot, Tom Fletcher told me they had so many Negroes on him and his people's place picking, what were they picking? Tobacco. They were picking tobacco. That they didn't even stop to count the Negroes anymore, sirs. Okay? See? Now, how could you get the food out to the party? Well, it's got to be the blacksmith with the horses, the wranglers, can't just carry it. Right? Guys closest to the farm, closest to Master's house, closest to his stables, closest to him was stealing food for us in the fields so we could steal away home and party at night on Master. We may get sold tomorrow, but we're partying today. My colonel, what was his name? Lord bless his heart. He says, my Negroes are the best Negroes in South Carolina. He says my Negroes are singing 5 days a week. 5 days a week. Yes, sir, Colonel. Your Negroes are singing 5. Yes, sir. Not all the work gets done. Yes, it does. I got the happiest Negroes in the state. Huh? My Negroes don't want freedom. They're too happy. Little did he know. Steal away home. We were stealing. That's right. Oh, but that's the side thing. Well, I was so happy. Now, back to our ragtime. You know the French, did you ever like the French? They say, you know, the people were like, you better not say nothing about the French, my buddy Jelly Roll Morton. Always got Louisiana blues versus Tennessee blues. Always got the white folks got us a conflict. Because I'm from Memphis and we did the thing better. So I just had to say that. You know the French. They said the French called it, I think this is right, Le Temps du Chiffon. Like, boy, see? Do you not speak French, sir? You're Indian, ain't
No.
you? Did you know they had, Yubi told me this. He said, look, WC, I rated 2 cats was Indian. Dark as me and you, playing ragtime. Talking about they were Seminoles. See, what I always heard that them brothers used to get way away, stealing off into, escaping into the what do they call that Florida stuff? The Everglades. So, I guess so. See? That's what you would say, see, you would see, you would be saying that, right? So, Indians, huh? Playing ragtime. I got some music here somewhere, I'll bring it out for you and show it to you. Huh. In Vienna, the printer carousel riders whirled to it. They've been in a coffee house zithers. A zither, I guess, would be a musical instrument, some type of costume. Played it. The old London barrel organs bleated it out. The Scottish lasses did their Highland fling to it, while the pipers squirreled out the maple leaf rag. Can you imagine a white man on a Scottish piper with his kills trying to do the maple leaf? Ah, yes. Ha! John Philip Sousa. I got a story about him, Major John Philip Sousa, talking about, what was his song? The boy said he only know 2 chords. That's what he said. He told boss, I only know 2 chords. And he said those were the notes. He played the melody. Next thing you know, he heard it is Semper Fidelis March. That's what he told me, you know. Told him name was Buck or something. That's what his name was. No name. All right. Major John Philip Sousa in the Marine Corps Concert Band. In the 1900 Paris Exposition, France played the Maple Leaf Rag. It was so good that they were summoned to individual command performances for who? Edward VII of England, Wilhelm II of Germany, and Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. Yes, as for serious acceptance, ragtime fared better in Europe than an epithet, a scornful, belittling term with strong racial overtones. Epithet class is a characterizing word or phrase applied to guerrillas by psychologists, to wit, such as cautious, conservative, not skillful mechanically or manually. Conscious of this fact, Joplin himself called the appellation scurrilous. Scurrilous, as the white people Joplin said, is the using or giving the using language of low buffoonery, broadly vulgar and evil in or in demeanor. And what is a buffoon? A man professionally engaged in entertaining others by tricks, gestures, and comic pants and rhyme. Boy, I tell you, ragtime was a beautiful place. Huh? Did I ever tell you the time when one of my boys got lynched? Tell you how beautiful it was. Huh? I was a minstrel, all right, time I'm cruising around on the railroad tracks. Ah, yes, we'll get to that later. I like that too. Ah, class, don't let no white man tell you any different. They did not invent ragtime. They did. This is the reason. The real trouble with attempting Negro ragtime was not that it was no good, but that it was too good. And it had, so to speak, been born with all of its parentage black. Of course, Rudy Blesh said the opposite. He says the real trouble with ragtime was not that it was too good, but it was too good, blah, blah, blah. Born out of wedlock was at least part of his parentage black. Derisive. That was tragic. After 1908, here comes this Joplin's book. By then, the derisive commercialization factor in it, the Tin Pan Alley reaching a quick buck, flooded the market with the indignation of ragtime. Mostly spurious, second and third rate, occasionally worthy. Of course, you know what spurious means. It's false, of illegitimate birth. The public was being tired of all of this when, as the illegitimate, this is what they think now, illegitimate ragtime Storyville jazz sees our stage. This is terrible. Storyville is where who again? Louisiana. Jelly Roll. You know, Jelly Roll was a pimp. See? And let E.B. Blake tell you about how the pimps taught him tricks of the game. Okay, let's see. What else can I tell you about gospel a minute? Well, I think we'll take a coffee break and get back with you in a moment.